Hagar, the woman who saw El Roi, the God who sees. The story of Hagar is one of pain, rejection, and redemption. Hagar walked alone in the wilderness, tired, hungry, and thirsty with no help. The sun was scorching, the heat was merciless, and she had no one to turn to. She felt she was at the verge of death, but no one was within view. She was pitched against one of the most powerful couple at the time, Abraham and Sarai. She had once trusted this couple, but they were now against her. While wandering in the wilderness, Hagar felt the weight of the pain, betrayal, and rejection pressing her down. But then, El Roi, the God that sees, was watching over her. Hagar was a servant, a young woman with no real voice or status, caught in a situation beyond her control. And yet, in her deepest sorrow, she became the first person in the Bible to name God El Roi, the God who sees me. This is her story, a plan that changed everything. It all started in the household of Abraham and Sarai, later known as Abraham and Sarah. Hagar was a young servant in the household. She was Egyptian by birth and was taken as a servant from her home country to serve. She was just a number, as she had no voice and had no choice but to obey and do whatever chore was assigned to her. God had promised Abraham that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars, but years had passed and Sarai remained barren. And he brought him forth abroad and said, "Look now toward heaven and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them." And he said unto him, "So shall thy seed be." But Sarai had waited long enough. She had still not gotten the long-awaited heir. She probably thought she could help God bring his promise to pass. One evening, she sat in her tent, staring at the flickering oil lamp, frustration evident in her face. "Abraham," she said, turning to her husband, "the Lord has prevented me from having children. Go and sleep with my servant Hagar. Perhaps I can have a child through her." Abraham hesitated. He loved Sarai, and this plan felt complicated. But he also knew how much she longed for a child. After a long silence, he agreed. That night, Sarai called for Hagar, the Egyptian servant she had acquired in Egypt. "Hagar," Sarai said, her voice firm yet uneasy, "you will be given to my husband as a wife. You will bear a child for this household." Hagar, barely given a choice, simply bowed her head. She had no say in the matter. She was a servant, a foreigner, and now a surrogate mother in a powerful household. From servant to scorned woman. In time, Hagar conceived, and with that, everything changed. She no longer felt like a mere servant. She was carrying the child of Abraham. She felt powerful, chosen, and elevated above her previous status. And so, a dangerous shift began. She looked at Sarai with contempt. She saw Sarah's longing, her frustration, her barrenness, and deep down, Hagar felt superior. "I'm the one who will give Abraham a child," she thought, "not her." Sarai was furious. "She despises me," Sarai cried out to Abraham one evening. "This was your idea," Abraham pointed out. "She is your servant. Do with her as you see fit." And so Sarai did. She made Hagar's life miserable. She humiliated her, overworked her, scolded her harshly. Hagar could take no more. She ran away. The wilderness encounter. Pregnant and alone, Hagar fled into the vast, harsh wilderness. She had no food, no protection, no clear destination, but she preferred the wilderness to Sarai's cruelty. After walking for miles under the scorching sun, she collapsed beside a spring of water. Tears ran down her face. "What am I going to do?" she whispered, holding her belly. "Where will I go? I am nothing. No one cares about me." And then a voice broke through the silence. "Hagar, servant of Sarai, where have you come from, and where are you going?" She gasped. An angel of the Lord stood before her. His presence was radiant, powerful, yet filled with kindness. "I'm running away from my mistress, Sarai," she admitted. The angel's gaze was steady. "Return to your mistress and submit to her," he said, "for I will greatly multiply your descendants, so they cannot be numbered." Hagar's heart pounded. Could this be real? "Behold, you shall bear a son," the angel continued, "and you shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord has heard your affliction." A son, a future, a promise. Hagar fell to her knees. She had been seen. "You are El Roi," she declared, "the God who sees me. Have I truly seen the one who sees me?" At that moment, the desert was no longer just a place of despair. It became holy ground. She named the spring Him El Roi, the well of the living one who sees me. With renewed strength, Hagar returned to Sarai. She now knew that even in her suffering, God saw her. Years later, banished again, Hagar gave birth to Ishmael, and for years she lived in Abraham's household. But then something happened that changed everything. Sarai, now Sarah, miraculously conceived and gave birth to Isaac, the true child of promise. One day, during a feast celebrating Isaac, Sarah saw Ishmael laughing. She was enraged. "Cast out this slave woman and her son," she demanded, "for the son of this slave shall not be heir with my son Isaac." Abraham was deeply troubled. Ishmael was his son too. But God spoke to him. "Do not be distressed. I will make a nation of the son of the slave woman also, because he is your offspring." And so, with a heavy heart, Abraham sent Hagar and Ishmael away. He sent them away with just a bottle of water. The final wilderness test. Hagar and Ishmael wandered into the desert of Beersheba. The hot sun bore down on them. The water Abraham had given them was gone. Ishmael grew weak. Hagar could not bear to watch him die. She laid him under a bush and walked away weeping. "Let me not look on the death of my child," she sobbed. And then a voice from heaven called out, "Hagar, do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Arise, lift up the boy and hold him fast, for I will make him into a great nation." At that moment, her eyes were opened. and she saw a well of water nearby. She rushed to Ishmael, gave him water, and revived him. God had provided again. Ishmael survived, grew up in the wilderness, and became an expert archer. He would go on to become the father of a great nation, just as God had promised. The 12 princes, Ishmael's legacy. Just as God promised, Ishmael's descendants multiplied. He fathered 12 sons, who became the ancestors of 12 powerful tribes. Nebaioth, the firstborn, associated with the Nabateans, a powerful Arab tribe. Kedar, known for their black tents and skills in archery, mentioned in Isaiah. Adbel, a tribe that settled in northern Arabia. Mibsam, his descendants lived among the Ishmaelite tribes. Mishma, established as a nomadic clan in the Arabian Peninsula. Doma, associated with a region in present-day Saudi Arabia. Massa, a tribe linked to wisdom, literature, and the Bible. Hadad, possibly connected to the Arameans. Tema, known for an oasis town in northwest Arabia. Jetur, associated with warriors in the Bible. Naphish, their people were later subdued by Israelite tribes. Kedema, the youngest, linked to the eastern desert regions. These were the sons of Ishmael, and these are the names of the 12 tribe rulers according to their settlements and camps. Ishmael lived 137 years. When he died, he was gathered unto his ancestors. Though the Bible doesn't give an account of Hagar's later years or her death, her significance lies in the role she played in the larger Bible narrative, particularly as a woman who was seen and cared for by God when she was in the wilderness and had no hope. While so many others acknowledged God's ability to see and know all things, Hagar is the only one recorded as directly calling him El Roi. El Roi, the God who sees me. Hagar's story is a reminder that God sees the forgotten, the rejected, the ones who feel invisible. God sees and cares for the outcast. Hagar had no status, no voice, but she was seen by God. God hears our cries, just as he heard Ishmael's cries. He hears yours too. God provides, whether it is a well in the wilderness or strength in your trials. He makes a way. No matter where you are or what struggles you face, El Roi sees you. And just like Hagar, you can encounter the God who not only watches over you, but also cares for you deeply. You are the God who sees me. Thank you very much for listening. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. I would like to know the lessons you learned from this story. Kindly let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this story, I'm sure you enjoy the next one. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.